Kōrero Prescriptions. Because kōrero is healing. He rongoā te kōrero. Nau mai hara mai ki tēnei paki here roki roki.
Toko ake ana ngā wai ia matua te tapu ia tongariro. Ka piko piko tana rere i ngā raiti. Ki te kōpua ka napa napa ko ngā ia wai o te manawa o te ika a Maui. Ka puta i te puau ki nuku hau. Ka heke ki o na whanaunga iwi. Ki te paikaranga o taupiri maunga. A puta noa atu ki te moana tā poko poko a tā whaki. Kei aku kōrero prescribers nau mai ki tēnei hōtaka whakamutunga o Kōrero Perscriptions. Ko Raiha Paki tēnei no Tūwharetoa, nau mai, haere mai. It's our final episode of season 1. Can you believe it? We've shared kōrero, expressed feelings, and found rongoā in honesty and openness. The mātanga hauora this season has been phenomenal. This podcast was the dream of the kaimahi of Raiha Whakapikiora. Our late ariki, Tātumu Te Heuheu, was also very, very proud of this kaupapa. His vision was that his mokopuna would get premium healthcare, not as an exception, but as a norm. Raiha Whakapikiora and the Tūwharetoa Māori Partnership Boards are in the phase of scoping what the hauora system will look like here in Tūwharetoa over the next few years. If you would like to contribute to that shaping, tēnā haere ki tēnei tūhononga, follow the link below. You will also get a koha for contributing your whakaro to that kōrero. No mātou te maringa nui I te piringa mai o te moana kia Kōrero Prescriptions. Ko ia taku whanaunga, kei aia ngā kōrero me te tirohanga Māori ki tēnei mea te oranga.
Hailing from the mighty hapu of Tū Te Mohuta me te rangi ita, te moana has quite an extensive education background. She is the kaiako of level 4 rongoā at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. Adding to that CV, she raised twin boys and now has bragging rights because she can call herself a kuia to her moko boy. Can you tell us what is your view of what oranga is?
I think Te Whare Tapawhā is probably the model most people think about when they think of Māori models of health because it was the first one. And it was developed in the context of mental health. And it was really groundbreaking in that it made obvious things that have been excluded or invisible or marginalised in our mainstream health system when it comes to Māori ways of understanding things, mātauranga Māori. But again, it's been interpreted through that lens, that Western education lens of everything has to be different and there can't be relationships that exist between Māori and Wairua. No, they have to be separated to be different things. So that just doesn't work for us. Me te mea hoki ko te kupu rongoā, whakamahia o rongo, katoa, a tinana a Wairua, and then you can receive that. Our culture today, we're constantly kind of bombarded with negativity and it's unbalanced. You've got to find ways to balance it. All rongoā comes from a place of, all the healing comes from a place of aroha. But make connections too. Find those places with good Māori that you can go to when you need it. Find a place where you can koha whatever it is, so that you are giving back, and that giving back will give back to you again. It just is, what do you call that? A cascade of positivity. Whatever you can bring out, whatever your koha is, there's a need for it.
Now let's take a look at some of the season's highlights, starting with the fires on the kaupapa of mental health.
So we have, we've been looking into the statistics for this area, for Tūwharetoa. They're not flash. Whakamomori is quite high. Depression, anxiety. But we know that the numbers don't paint the whole picture. So what would you say is the state of our nation?
The state of Tūwharetoa, I think, with the current government activities that are going on, it is causing a lot of pressure on our people. And pressure, what I mean by that is that pressure against people and other. And that's not a great thing. It's extra pressure on top of the pressure that was already there. In terms of our state of Tūwharetoa, there needs to be a lot of education around accepting where people are at. And in actual fact, this is go totally against what some people might think. The fact that people want to choose to go is another thing that we need to look at. It's a courageous conversation to have, but it needs to be had. And I remember speaking with some mental health experts and in the coroner area as well, around pūrākau that talked about whakamomori and also whakamate. And that there are some references in our history around that from mai rānoa, way back.
Like, e tautoko ana au i au kōrero, tēnā koe i era whakamarama. Would you say within your mahi you've seen the same sentiments reflected?
I think everybody has a safe space, a place that makes them feel at home, whatever that is. So whoever it is that makes that space good for you. I think when people lose their way, they lose that safe space and they've got to find their way back to it. Whatever that journey looks like for them and what the support that is needed around them at the time may change. From, if you looked at it on a continuum of illness to wellness, the people in their life can change in that space, and their life can change drastically.
So tackling mental health head on is something those fires do on a daily basis. With the issue being so prevalent here in Tūwharetoa, I'm so grateful that they spoke so openly about all of it. If you need to reach out to either Whaia Kimi or Whaia Merrill, please see the contacts below. Not to draw a link between the two kaupapa, heo ia no, kei te aro tātou ki tēnei mea te ruruhitanga. We're going to have a look at menopause and its profound effects on our wahine ruruhi. So profound that it will flip your life up on its head. So let's talk to Dr. Grace Malcolm with her take on HRT.
So the HRT, and it does work. What it does, when women go through menopause, what is actually happening is that their estrogen levels are reducing. The bones can get quite weak and they end up with fractures and things like that. And so how can women kind of, what are the best ways to be able to manage it? And of course there is HRT, and for some women it's a lifesaver. And they've tried many other things and that's the only thing that will work for them. It's about medicine in general. First and foremost, there's the issue around, dietary health, around eating the right way to support your body. Gemini on Google, AI. It will make you up a whole monthly menu plan about how to deal with menopause or the symptoms of menopause.
Use AI, te whānau. You heard it here first from a medical professional. Sometimes AI works.
Use AI, it's a good tool.
Yeah.
It's a good tool.
I, like many of you kōrero prescribers out there, love me some kinuks, some oysters, and just kai moana in general. We asked Dr. Leanne Te Karu about gout, and she said that gout is prevalent in Māori and Polynesians because it's an adaptation that our tūpuna had, which was conducive to their voyaging lifestyle. So let's take a look back at her kōrero.
We think that it was an advantage, mai rā no. We think that on the voyaging journeys it was really helpful to have a high uric acid level, because uric acid lets you store salt and it lets you store kai. So, mai rā no, a benefit perhaps, but 2025, less so.
So basically, I got told to have a little more sympathy for my husband who suffers from gout, and so on that whole episode, I fell on my sword. So, growing up, my father had really serious bronchitis. It was so scary sometimes to watch him cough and suffer and isolate himself in the room. So when I had the opportunity to ask questions to Dr. Grace Malcolm about the effects on all of this on Tūwharetoa Uri, I jumped at the chance. Here's Dr. Grace Malcolm, and this is what she had to say about respiratory illnesses.
So what the vaccinations do, as all vaccinations do, or immunisations, is they gives the body a little bit of that, a taste of what it's like to have that condition, okay? And when the immunisation does that, then the body has a chance to build up its defence system. And not only that, when you do get the condition, because the body's been able to mount a response, an early response, and quite comprehensive, the symptoms that you experience aren't as severe.
Right.
So immunisation saves people, hey?
Yeah.
And that's a really good point that you raise, because I get that, especially amongst our Māori people, and especially since COVID came along, Māori have become more and more wary of immunisation. But in actual fact, the reason immunisation came into place was because way back when, if you think about the war and influenza, or pre-war influenza, polio, chickenpox, measles, TB, meningitis, they kill children. They don't kill all children. They don't even kill most of the children that they come across, okay? But they do kill some. And if it's your child, you would wish that there was a vaccination that people had taken in order to prevent your child from getting sick and being affected.
Yeah.
Kia koutou e noho tau mahana I tēnei wā, I raro I ngā āhuatanga o ngā mate pūkahu, kia piki te ora, te kaha, me te māramatanga, ki runga kia koutou. This next kaupapa is something I wish our tinana had adapted to, because I love me some baking sometimes. Diabetes though, it ain't no joke. Diabetes affects everybody, it doesn't discriminate, but technology is changing how it's treated.
We lobbied so hard to get some medicines here in Aotearoa that have been available in other countries for more than a decade, medicines that show, for the first time ever, that you can stop that increase in mortality with diabetes with these medicines. So they became available in 2021 after so much advocacy and kind of backyard deals and kind of meetings outside of buildings, and then we had to make sure that they would be implemented in a way that was equitable. And what people don't understand about equity is that you have to apply things with unequal to get an equal outcome, so some people might get more to get an equal outcome.
So enlightening, eh? I hope all this kōrero is helpful to you, and I hope it shows you that you don't have to suffer in silence. Mate puku or cancer. With our higher rates of delayed diagnosis, delayed treatment, and access issues due to our rural locality, we wanted to ask our tākuta about how to hack the system. So, Dr. Leanne Te Karu talked to us about what cancer actually is and what is being done to make our outcomes a bit more equitable.
And again, this was one of the things that I think is such a disservice in terms of thinking about unequal input to get equal outcome. Did some really great work. People like Nina Scott, and I've heard of her, out of Waikato. Myra Roka, they're both Māori, Māori haematologist, Māori public health physician. Amazing work around bowel cancer and why Māori should be screened earlier. So we were running throughout Taupo Turangi and into Waikato what we didn't think was a pilot, but a program where Māori was screened at 50, non-Māori at 60, because we've got very clear evidence as to why you would want to do that. It's diagnosed much earlier. So we thought that was something that was going to be rolled out elsewhere. You know, it wasn't a pilot. Subsequently, it was called a pilot and it was ceased. And what happens now is that everyone across the country is screened at the age 58. So it's not helping Māori at all. You know, that's we could show that, you know, that's going to mean more people dying.
Ka mihi rā ki ngā mātanga katoa I tau mai ki te whare kōrero o Kōrero Prescriptions, I roto I ngā marama kua hori. We are also honoured to hold a safe space where health kōrero for Tūwharetoa and all Māori is heard, expressed, and more importantly, received without judgment. No mātou te waimari I te whakaetanga ki te tehi te renga tuarua mō Kōrero Prescriptions. So, this is not the last you will hear from me, I te whānau. We will be back with season 2. So if you found this season helpful, tēnā haere ki ngā tūrangai purangi o Tūwharetoa on, o he ara whakapiki ora hoki, kei te pukamata era, ana pato mai he kōrero. And also here is the link if you would like to contribute your voice to shaping how your health is looked after here in Tūwharetoa. Mau mahara hoki, he koha ka whoatu ki a koe mō whakaaro. Tēnā koutou I tō tautoko mai I tēnei pakihere roki. Come back next season for more Kōrero Prescriptions, where kōrero is healing.
This podcast was sponsored by Hara Whakapiki Ora, production Tūwharetoa Mohi, post-production Raiha Paki, director Tūpo Tamapaki, production manager Sierra Tulloch, producer Tūpo Tamapaki, presenter, researcher Raiha Paki, executive producer Leanne Puohotaua, reo en tikanga QA Hinana Media, production house Tūwharetoa On, production assist Raylene Walker.
Kia ora whakapiki ora is our opportunity now to put into action the aspirations of our people.
Really important because it's helping us to come together as providers for our whānau. So not even that whānau for our whānau. Kai mai.
We're either tūwharetoa by whakapapa or we're tūwharetoa because we live in this lohi. And so when you peel some of those layers back, actually the challenges become opportunities to come together as whanaunga and opportunities to work better together.
So our purpose is to support our kaumātua to access services.
I hope to see come out of it is that we actually be real, we be honest, and we look at each other as whānau, not as providers and all the dissections that we have.